tennis elbow. So, three ways, easy ways to prevent and or manage your tennis elbow. So, if you already have a tennis elbow condition, which is also called lateral epicondylitis, then this is how you can manage it. And if you don't have one, which is very good, here's how you can prevent it. Alrighty, if you're watching me anywhere except the YouTubes, uh, if you like what I'm talking about, do go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. And you can press on that little bell icon to know every time I go on a live video. So you can know about tennis elbow and many more similar topics that you might be coming across or suffering from when you are working in a office in an office environment, or if you are a mom and you have lots of duties that you're juggling through with your office and your kids, etc., etc., right? We know how it is being a mom, right? So uh, what happened recently was I saw a patient who had a lot of discomfort in her arms and sorry, her hands and her forearms, and a little bit around her arm. She's had an issue with her cervical spine before, and she thought it's the pain that's radiating down, basically, your cervical spondylitis, as we call it, going down into her arm and forearm, and especially her hands. Now, she went to the doctor, took the written usual medications. Nothing really worked out. So she came to me, and because I had treated her for the neck before, and we realized the problem was actually not in her neck, it was her elbow. So sometimes a few symptoms can overlap between two conditions. It's about finding out what's happening. So in her case, she had a lot of pain around this forearm area. And then she had pain going along these tendons, these ropey, stringy parts of the muscles that go and attach into our fingers and control this movement. So she had a lot of pain around there. And basically wasn't sure because it was sort of coming up the arm as well. All these can be a symptom of or symptoms of tennis elbow. It's not necessary that you don't have to play tennis to get these, but then, well, people who do backhand in tennis get these quite often. So that's how the term was coined, tennis elbow. Now, if you do have tennis elbow, or if you have these symptoms, which are very similar to cervical spondylitis, of course, you need to go to a doctor or your physical therapist, or you need to basically go to a healthcare professional to know what it is. But once they diagnose you, what do you do after that? So I'm going to go through three easy ways that you can prevent or manage your tennis elbow. So one is a tip on ergonomics. So basically how you're using things around you, that's ergonomics. And specifically for those mummies who are working in the office and are at the computer the whole day using the keyboard. So tip number one is that I'm going to go into it. So tip number one is about using your keyboard and mouse. And the other two tips are simple stretches I'm going to talk to you about. If you followed me for more than 10 minutes, you know I never go into complicated stuff, right? I always tell you the easy, easy way of doing things. Because really, if I'm going to give you complicated tips and exercises, you're not going to follow it. At least I wouldn't, right? So, the first one, whenever you're working on your mouse, at your keyboard, with your children, one thing you have to do is make sure your wrist is in neutral. So if you look at my wrist here, if you draw a straight line here, this is in neutral. So if I was deviated towards my little finger or my thumb, my wrist is not in neutral. This is neutral. However, you also got to look at the side here. So if, say, if I am bent down or bent backwards, this is not neutral. So I want to be in neutral. So for example, I have this very weird, no, not really weird. I have this habit of holding my phone like this on my ear. And my better half, he's always telling me, my husband's always telling me to hold my phone like this. And I just can't. And just today, after years and years of being told to hold the phone like this, I realized, oh, yes, that's right. It is the neutral position of the wrist. This is what I teach everybody. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. So if you're holding your mouse, what I want you to do is, I don't want you to be like this. I want you to hold, okay, just imagine there's a mouse here. Um, I'm on a holiday. I don't have my mouse around me. I just have my laptop, so just bear with me. So just imagine I'm holding a mouse in my hand. So your wrist is in neutral here, and it's neutral here. Usually, when you're holding a mouse, this will happen. You have the mouse here, and you're holding the mouse. Your wrist will go up like this. An easy way of preventing this is take a face towel, roll it up, pop it under your crease of your wrist here. Once you do that, you will have your wrist in neutral. Okay, so that's one easy one. And obviously, if you're in the office and you don't fancy having a face towel on your mouse pad, you can get a mouse pad with a little wrist support. So it's like a little speed bump there, right? It's like a little elevation on your mouse pad. So that keeps your wrist neutral. Same thing happens when you're using your keyboard. You don't want to be up, I mean, up here like this. You want to be in a straight line, okay? So you do get those keyboards. It's a surface on which you can keep your keyboard, and it's got that strip long support there for your wrist. So you can get these simple things to add on to your office equipment so that you are not using your wrist in any other position except neutral, because neutral is where your wrist is the most comfortable and it's not going to get so painful. Okay. If you want to get into more into what is tennis elbow and how do you prevent and all that, you can check out my blog. It'll be there. um, the other two are very simple exercises. So the first one you're going to do is you're going to have, I'll show you from the side here. You're going to hang on. So you're going to take your hand like this. So basically it's in front of you, but I'll show you sideways, and you're going to take your hand down. Step number one, make sure you are not doing this. Your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Let me just adjust this a little bit so I can show you here. So basically you're going to do this, okay? Sideways, if I show you, it's this, right? Now if this is comfortable, you can add an overpressure with your other hand and then pull down a little bit more. If this is comfortable, you can make a fist, thumb in or thumb out, and then you go down. So basically what I'm doing is I'm putting more and more stretch on these tendons here that start on the outer part of my elbow, and that's exactly where lateral epicondylitis, the basic cause of lateral epicondylitis, is. So you're stretching those tendons and giving them a bit of relaxation. They're quite tense. You give them that stretch. Okay, so that's one exercise. The second one you can do for your tennis elbow is you do the namaste pose. You do the reverse namaste. So what you do is basically your hands are like this, and this part here, I'm just elevating to show you. I'll show you the proper position. So this part here, the back of your palm, both hands are touching each other. So what you're going to do is not this. Your shoulders are nice and relaxed. If you can't relax your shoulders, take a deep breath in and out, and then drop your shoulders down. Okay, so I hope you can see me here. Yeah, so what you're going to do is this. So suppose I've got my right side is affected. What you're going to do with your left side is you're going to push in. So do you see how we're doing the similar exercise to what I showed you, the number two tip? But in number two tip, we had our elbow extended. Here I've got my elbow bent. Okay, so then you're going to push the wrist backwards while your elbow is flexed here. Okay, now these stretches can be held for 5 seconds. If you're comfortable, you can move on to about 10 seconds. You can go up to 15 seconds if you fancy. If you do this, if you do this say 5 to 6 times a day, if you already have tennis elbow, that's great. If you can do it every hour, but don't hold it for that long. If you're going to do it like every hour, just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or max 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds hold is all you need to do. Okay, so remember the three easy tips. One is how you're holding your mouse and your keyboard, so basically keeping your wrist in neutral. Second was the stretch, and third is the reverse namaste stretch. Alrighty, so those are the three easy ways in which you can prevent or manage if you already have a tennis elbow condition. Now, if you like what I'm talking about, you can check out my community. If you're on Instagram, it's there on the link to my bio. If you're watching me on Facebook, I will leave a link in the description below. And for those who are watching me on LinkedIn, I do have my community set up. You can check it out. It's called Executive Moms Rising Up. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. And I'll see you guys the next time. Till then, take care. Bye.